Infinite ammo.
And we are live, so greetings ladies and gentlemen, this is Renegade Operative, and here we are joined by this magnificent cast. We are going to talk about the lost art of video game demos. So I'm going to introduce myself. I am Renegade Operative, obviously the host, and next we have Kel.
My name's Kill Shisho. You can follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and all the good places.
Domain.
Domain 76, I run the YouTube channel Game Domain.
Devil Hunter James.
You already know who it is.
Yes, it is the titty lover here. Next is Levy Dalmishman.
This beer tastes like shit.
Oh, that is informative to know. Next we have Hardcore Leveling.
What's up? I run the YouTube channel The Legend of Edry.
Next we have Red Era.
Hello. I run the YouTube channel under the same name. Yeah.
It's like that is all I am going to plug today. And I think I got everyone, so we're going to go into the first question. Can someone read that off, please? Because I do not have the document open.
Which one? The first one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Question 1. How do you feel about the landscape of video game demos now compared to previous generations like the PlayStation 1, PS2 era? Demos now require pre-order signups, or modern games ship with no demo at all sometimes. How does everyone feel about that?
Well, saying that they ship with no demos at all sometimes, I would say it's an understatement. They ship with no demos at all most of the time.
It depends. Like,
You're kind of right, because I don't think Death Stranding had a demo. I don't think Spider-Man PS4 had a demo.
Traditional demos are generally a dead concept now.
Yup.
Yeah.
Most of them
Yeah.
are
And
like-
if they're there, they're behind a paywall.
Once
And-
DLC got big, demos were like a thing of the past, to be honest.
yeah. But then there are also things like if a game got popularity, they make a sequel or whatever, betas and alphas.
Yeah.
I always chalked it up to companies because games are so expensive now. They don't want to take the risk of people saying, "Well, I tried it and I don't like it, so I'm not going to buy it."
Yeah, and there's also the fact that there's more monetization schemes behind it. Like, now you gotta either sign up or pre-order, or you might not get into this demo, so it might be a little bit more secretive to get into it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like closed betas and all that shit.
Yeah, I fucking...
beta is literally the new word for demo these days.
I fucking
much.
hate closed betas, dude.
Yeah. Except you have restricted access instead of just being able to get it.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of data mining
Can-
going on too.
I would say overall a lot of things are better though, because now we can just download a demo from our console, and back in the day you'd have to either order something or go to a game store and pick up a demo disc. So I do think it's a lot more streamlined now, and we do have some decent demos, but a lot of games are just not shipping with demos anymore.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. If you want to just like sort of distinguish the two, basically it's a lot more convenient now to download demos. But if you want to say, well, demos are not like variety written as they used to be, you can say that too.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's kind of like there's more quantity but a lot less quality for demos now.
hmm
Like it's easy to get them, but be damned if they're not rare.
That if you get a demo, it's like maybe 10 minutes long. You're hoping for more.
Yeah, most of them are timed too, so it kind of sucks trying to get through all the content and actually figure them out.
Like with the Resident Evil 2 demo earlier this year.
Yeah, it's like 30 minutes,
Yeah.
and then once it's over, you can't play it anymore. But I think
don't
you
know
could
why
get
they did
around
that.
it though.
That was kind of dumb.
Yeah.
It was.
Kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah,
Well,
for real.
Well, it kind of also shows that if you suck at the game that much and you fail within the 30 minutes or before that, then you can't play it again. It's your fault.
Well,
Wasn't Medieval like they give you like a short time to play it and then it goes away?
Yeah, medieval. did it.
Medieval, it stuck around. I mean, you could play as much as you want, but it was kind of weird because it has the same opening level as the original PS1 demo, but they cut the second level out for some reason.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
what was it? And if you played the demo, if you found the helmet, it apparently is like extra hard mode for the release,
Yep.
which I did.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like totally bad concepts. There are things about modernized demos that are cool. The problem is it's just like few and far between for the games that they put out. And also, I do like the concept of them like carrying over stuff from the demo to the main game when they give you like more XP or costumes or bonus content.
Or
Or
you can actually
simply just
your save.
keep your save.
Yeah, you can keep your save until like you're not like basically a level 1 scrub. You might be like level 5 or something. So I do like that a lot.
Yeah,
Especially in multiplayer games.
that brings to mind.
And I think
Like,
another good.
go ahead.
You could go. I was saying that there's a good question to ask. Like, when's the last time a demo made you actually want to buy a game?
I think that's later in the doc, but we
That's
can answer
later.
that. I can mark it out too, so we can just get through it quickly. I think a demo that made me buy a game. I'm trying to think on this because there's been so many games that I played. I think Neo is one of them. Now, granted, I did not like any of the alphas, but I did like the concept of the gameplay, and I did like the fact that the developers wanted to listen to us. Also, to that question, it's like, what sort of demo made you want to buy a game or not? I can't think of one that I didn't want to buy just based off the demo, but it's probably a few of them that you guys can answer for that one.
I think most of the games like I usually play demos or betas for, I've already had interest in it. So by the time I got to the beta, I was like, pretty much what I thought it was gonna be, and then just bought it anyway.
That's fair.
Mhm.
Yep.
I feel like the PS1 era is the easiest for me. Since I was a blank, as a kid, you're a blank slate, so they just introduced me to all this stuff. I'm like, oh, I didn't know I would like this.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
also when the 360 they had the demos before you buy the game, see if you liked it or not.
It had to be like for me to not buy into a game after playing the demo. It had to be one of those games that's like, okay, yeah, this is cool and all, and I do enjoy the concept of it, like a racing game, for example. But I wouldn't necessarily pay $50 for it if that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know if
Yeah.
any of you got to try like a jam pack, what's called on the PlayStation 2, which was basically a disc just full of demos and only demos. And you could get to try out,
PS2, yeah.
get to try a whole different array of games. And I remember I bought Crazy Taxi after playing it as a demo in one of those discs.
Oh my fucking god, I remember Crazy Taxi. Crazy Taxi.
I have it on PC.
I think demo disc made me a fan of IDOS, like Tomb Raider and Ninja Shadow of Darkness and all that.
I honestly think the 360 when they had the demos was actually good because there's one game I played the demo for, got stuck, hated the game, played it again, loved it. That game was Bastion. And it's also funny because I actually played other demos before we actually started this podcast.
Yeah.
Like
I would s-
AI, the Simonium Files is a good one. That's a good game. Played the
Yeah.
demo, loved it, bought it.
A really good like demo-wise game that I played was Enchanted Arms when the 360 was still around. I haven't touched it in a while, but it was really fun. I mean, just like the game itself, the demo made me hate the game, but I got the game and I was like, you know what? It was nothing like the demo.
Yeah, because most of them aren't like that at all. It's like they take out certain parts of the game. It's like, oh, hey, this is what you're playing. And now
Yeah,
it's like, I hate this, but you buy the game anyway, and you're like, huh, this game's actually good.
yeah. One thing to remember is that it's not fully
I would say
representative.
a demo that, like, kind of like what Ren said, there's a demo that actually has to actually like try to be bad for me not to make me not want to buy the actual game.
Mhm.
But the demo for I don't know if low key series. I don't know if any of you guys heard of it. Danganronpa.
Yes.
Yep.
The third game. I know everyone bashes on that game, so I just kind of downloaded the demo just to see what it was like, and I actually kind of enjoyed it. So, I mean, it did its job in reeling me in. But
Well, the game is good.
Most
Yeah.
most of the Tomb Raider games sort of follow under this umbrella. Like I was not fully interested into those until I actually played the demo, and I'm like, this is freaking cool. You can do backflips and shoot dinosaurs and all that type of shit. So I thought that was like very cool, as well as like Crash. I'm like, I'm a big fan of platformers, but I'm like, I don't know how a 3D platformer would work. And then they made that game, and I'm like, okay, this is awesome.
And of course, Crash and Spyro advertise each other with demos, so that was always good.
Yeah.
It was the same thing for the Ratchet and Clank demos too. Like, I had no idea that Insomniac was making like games like that at all. And then when I picked them up and played them, I was like, oh, this is a pretty cool series. Like, I never heard of a New Time IP during the time that it came out. And a lot of my friends were raving about it, and then I got into it like really late. So I figured I'd pick up like a Game Informer sort of demo disc and see it and try it out, and it was really good.
I can't remember if Jack and Ratchet have ever like crossed for demos. Like, I don't know if they did the same thing as Naughty Dog and Insomniac.
Probably not.
I feel like they would. The only thing I know is they advertise each other in their full games, which is awesome.
Good little Easter egg.
So is everyone finished with this question before we move on to the next one?
Yeah, we're done with questions 1 and
I'm
3.
good.
Yep.
All right, so question 1 and 3. I keep forgetting we gotta exit those out. So question 2, how do you feel about the concept of how demos were distributed in the past, either by buying pieces or subscribing to magazines to get a vertical slice of the gameplay?
Man, that's a terrible way to word it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's.
I
I
Did that
mean,
pun on purpose. you
God
guys.
damn it, Red.
I mean, it's. You come on, man. You gotta
Hey,
understand.
come on! I thought it was funny.
It's
I
funny.
was trying
Come
to think of
on.
a response. I was like,
A vertical slice. Come on.
But
Gonna go with the puns.
Imagine how they had nowadays. Like, you get a game demo from a pizza. It's like, hey, if you beat this demo, you get a pizza in the game.
I beat
I don't-
every demo I see.
I don't know if that would be weird or because I'm gonna be like, you know what? Just give me an actual pizza and I would be happy.
buy fucking bananas, and you get a banana gun in fucking RE2.
They did crap like that in DMC5, so I wouldn't be surprised actually.
Did they really? I never get touched.
Yeah, there's a banana like sort of arm cannon that you could use as like a weapon or something.
Mega
Oh.
Booster. Yep, it was so dumb.
But on the question at hand, how do you guys feel about number 2?
I mean, there's something cool about buying a pizza and getting a demo for a game, but at the same time, isn't that like really inconvenient to try a demo?
Yeah.
How many people are gonna play that game? We're gonna be like, oh, gotta go buy a pizza now. Gotta go buy 6 pizzas.
I feel like it's just. I feel like it's just an advertising, like a product of its time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
This is
Like-
before the internet, so it's kind of the only way they could get it to people.
Like, I can
Yeah.
understand magazines, like people getting demos from magazines, like the little demo discs.
I
That's
think-
fine.
Game Informer used to do that a lot.
They did, yeah.
I know Nintendo Power did it before they defuncted,
I mean,
but it was like
it's
a long time ago.
if they do that, if they had another way to get a demo and not just through the magazine or whatever, sure. Otherwise, it's kind of limited, or how many people are actually gonna get to play that demo, right?
Yeah, for what the demo is like kind of supposed to do, I agree. The magazine is kind of like a pretty solid way to do it, but like having to freaking buy a whole pizza and just hope you get a demo out of it, that's just kind of too convoluted just for a demo of a game.
It's
Yeah,
not
so-
the first time we've seen something like this because it happened last generation. If people don't remember, there was Uncharted 3, and the only way to get into the Uncharted 3 multiplayer beta at the time during when this was happening was buying like some Subway stuff. So you had to go to Subway in order to get like a beta code. I know it's strange thinking about it now, but it actually happened last generation.
You got
Yeah,
a big
they also had like
Yeah.
advertisements with fucking Drake going, "Oh hey, I can't wait to try the Subway sandwich."
I know.
I kind of
pretty
miss
big,
those
like-
commercials.
Those were
You got,
funny.
you got a big cult following behind Uncharted too, so I'm pretty sure it was easier to do that too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just big product placement. It's like, I understand what the companies are doing, and, you know, it kind of does go hand in hand at times, but it is ridiculous when you think about it. It's like Americans, fast food, product placement, that's what they're going off of.
Now it's like Taco Bell, you could win this Xbox One.
Okay, now that's when it gets to the point where it's like you have to buy Xbox shampoo or Doritos to get Call of Duty codes. It's like, why? Why would you do this?
Or pizza rolls. That's an
Or
issue, too.
the Red Bull on the new
You
that's
don't want these Xbox PJs? Those are real, by the way.
You don't want this
What?
onesie with the giant
Yes.
Xbox symbol on the side of it?
I'll find them as we're going.
No, I would no, I'd rather buy the Pokeball bra that someone made.
Oh,
Oh,
my
God.
god.
Wait.
That is a thing.
Wait.
This is getting too X-rated in the bedroom. Hold on here.
There's a controller like the bikini bottoms too. There's like an Xbox controller.
Oh Jesus, yeah, I had to find it.
What, the Bikini Bottom Xbox controller?
No, this abomination that came out.
Oh God, why?
Well, what is
That
that?
is a thing. Wow.
Xbox One, like they're like onesies.
They even
Nope.
have socks too. Why?
I'm going to show this on stream. Let me screen capture real quick. I have to do this.
I forgot when this must have came out like 2 years ago. I swear we went on a whole thing about it.
There's the Xbox
so-
onesie.
Is this like a special
fucking
giveaway?
bad.
There's
No,
only one
no,
reason.
Or is this something they actually sold?
Yes, you could
Oh,
buy this.
Jesus.
I'm buying this. 110%.
I'm not.
I was like, it's so
110%.
funny bad.
I man, I
actually-
don't. I
know
don't
Who
what?
actually wears this?
That good
Uh,
question.
Phil Spencer.
I mean, I wouldn't
I
be
don't think so.
surprised.
Phil
He
Spencer
probably
strikes
does.
me more as of a PlayStation guy.
I mean, it
No,
would make
oh,
it would make more sense to me if it was like a hoodie and some pants, but
Yeah, it's a onesie. They're all together.
yeah.
It's got
No,
pockets,
I-
man.
That's why it
I
looks
would laugh.
stupid.
I would laugh so hard if Reggie Fils-Aimé actually wears the Xbox pajamas.
Hey, if they
I tell
fly
you,
me out
Phil
to a
Spencer is like,
convention-
oh, I work for Xbox, but we all know he likes PlayStation too much.
Yeah, it's like I work for Xbox, but they did a great job on this PS4 game.
Honestly, I'm gonna get someone this for Christmas just to see their reaction.
Look,
Box me onesie.
What have I done?
Yeah, like I can't imagine that they would have a negative result from that. Like, how many people would buy the game after trying the demo versus how many people will not buy the game because of the demo?
isn't that like the most backwards way?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kind
that
of.
doesn't really make sense. That's like pirating. You're never
Yeah.
guaranteed a sale though. Like just because they pirated the game doesn't mean they were
Yeah.
originally going to buy it to begin with.
Yeah, and then you get people that, even though they greenlit the demo, it's like they're not going to be surprised with the results.
I put it like this: if you are the type of person that you want to have your consumers buy your game and you know your game is good, and if you're confident, then there's no problem there. It's like, okay, you already hooked the person regardless if they enjoyed the demo. But to say, well, we're scared of backlash and people won't like our games, to me that just says that you made a bad game, and
Yeah.
and you're not doing like the proper means of advertising it or showing that it's actually good.
Also,
Yeah.
isn't that kind of superfluous because so the game comes out one way or another, people are going to hear if it's good or not anyway. Like, what's the point in hiding it?
Exactly. Like a lot of people wait for the first reviews to come out before buying the game anyway.
Yeah,
There's just no, you can't hide it. It's either it's gonna be good or it's gonna be bad, and they're gonna find out an hour later.
Yeah,
So
you
they
can
should just
actually
push out demos.
yeah, you can actually use the demo to get the people like hooked into the game. Like, what if you make the demo so that they can play the 30 minutes of the game, like the first 30 minutes of the game, and then they have to buy the game if they want to keep playing?
or if you're smart like Square Enix with Dragon Quest 11, that's what they did. First
Mhm.
3 hours. Hey, after the 3 hours, you better buy our game.
Or
Yep.
here's a crazy idea: use feedback from the demo to fix the game. I don't know, crazy idea.
Open world
Foreign
games,
concept. Foreign concept.
Man,
Yeah,
that
open world
perish,
games are better on
cherish
that
the
aspect.
thought.
Perish it.
Paris.
Yeah, that could be
Cherish it too.
early
I think open
feedback for
world
the
games
game.
have a better like grasp on that because it's like you don't even have to time it. It's like, all right, cool, stick in this one section, do what you want, just go on with it.
Someone made the argument that, oh well, open world games, they cannot release demos due to the world being so big.
But you have limited
There have
time.
been there's been trials that just lock you out from other areas.
Yeah, invisible walls, come on, it's not a foreign concept.
Like,
Except for
imagine
what is it, FF15, where people got out of the walls.
Oh
Oh.
yeah.
yeah, but that's just exploiting the game at that point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
nothing
wasn't
they're gonna,
exploit,
like-
but it's still funny.
Yeah.
and you can patch that. So
You could.
I think they did actually. I think they did patch that later.
yeah, like just imagine like I don't know a Breath of the Wild demo which doesn't let you get out of the Great Plateau or something like that.
And the Great Plateau is big enough to where you can just sit around and run around until the game comes out.
Yep.
And it's also the fact that if you're exploiting, you might run into areas that are unfinished. So you might fall through some walls or some floors. It's a demo, so the exploiters they have to expect stuff like this.
Although they could also potentially spoil the game if they find things,
Oh,
they're
that
not
le-
supposed to have yet,
oh
which
that
has happened. Like 15 had that happen as well.
that leads into the next question. So, how do you feel about the concept of developers not putting out demos because of data mining, which is also something that leads to spoilers?
I thought that was mainly a PC issue.
I
Yeah, not so
think
much console-wise.
I think so. I'm not 100% certain if someone data mined something on consoles and they found something, because never underestimate how far people will go to data mine demos, no matter where it is. But
I mean,
it
but are
does
spoilers really that big a deal?
it to
In some
some, yeah. I
To
would say.
develop, I would say to developers and the publishers, yeah, I notice they kind of get really pissed off.
And it's like if there's a big game that I'm looking forward to and someone's talking about like data mine spoilers, I'm going to be like just ticked off about it.
Actually, yeah, Square got super mad about Kingdom Hearts 3. They did it to the point where they like they had to patch in the ending cutscene to the game later.
Yeah.
But I will say it is more of a problem on PC, hence why you really don't see a lot of PC data mine. No, you don't see like a lot of PC demos come out because of data mining.
Yeah, and PC you get mostly like early access stuff, right?
It's just I think it's easier to do. So I'm not
Yeah,
disputing that it
you
can't
can
happen
get to
everywhere, but
files, so it's kind of yeah.
yeah, so
think
it's
it's-
easier
Yeah, I
to do
understand
there.
why they don't do it. Consoles, I don't get why you'd hide it. It's not. It's also a lot harder to hack into consoles now than it used to be.
I think a lot of things like DLC wise too. When they push out DLC, they already have it in the game, so they're like, oh crap, well our DLC is going to be exposed if we do it.
Yeah, people can read it, so
Oh yeah.
they're usually like a notepad or some file like that. You can just read them and like figure it out.
I will play devil's advocate slightly, because there has been some data mine announcements that were occurring on certain games that I was looking forward to that I bought already, that actually did make me want to buy the DLC even more due to the characters they talked about or the content that they were going to release. So sometimes it can be good news.
What game in particular?
I'm trying to think. I know it was one recently that they just talked about, like the RE2 sort of DLC that they're referring to. If they come out with like a DLC campaign or something, I would totally buy it, because I want more content for that game since I did enjoy it. It would be the same if they did the same for like DMC. Remember all the supposed DLC rumors and all that shit, and everyone wants to play with Virgil.
Yep.
Yeah, if they did that, then they would have my money. So sometimes it can be a good thing. Other times when they spoil the entire experience, it can be like, eh, kind of wish that was secret.
I mean, can't you like avoid spoilers? Like, it happens a lot with like series, like TV series or Netflix series. People are spoiling it all the time. You can just kind of avoid them once you get used to it.
I think with like social media, it's kind of hard too.
Yeah,
With, like,
that
Twitter.
that's
like,
what I was
Twitter,
gonna say. Like
stuff.
sometimes if someone finds something out, it's going to be trending. It's like, oh my god, here we go. So it's gonna be the first thing you see, unless you like just totally go dark. That's always an option too.
Yeah, but that sucks going like a month or two before the game comes out or like TV show, whatever it is, and you're like, oh, look, I can't use any social media now.
Yeah, that
That's fair.
sucks. So anyone have any questions on this before we continue?
I will say, oh, you want to go?
No, I actually got nothing.
I will say, I mean, it's a totally legitimate like fear of the data mining, but I mean, nowadays, if it's not data mined, you're also running the risk of things being leaked, which is still
Yeah.
very much a possibility. So, like, nothing is 100% guaranteed to be safe, locked in a box until the release date. And for what a demo is supposed to do, like hook people in or like be the deciding factor whether or not people buy a game or not, I feel like releasing a demo, even with the risk of being data mined, is still. I could be wrong about this, but I feel like it's still a smart business move.
I agree with that. And isn't there a way that they could just release the demo without like reducing the amount of information that could be potentially data mined from it?
I'm just like assuming that the best thing they can do is try to conceal code, which I'm not a game developer, so I don't know how easy or hard this is to do, but that is one of the things they can do, like just simply, put in a bunch of words or phrases, filter them out, and make sure it doesn't lead to anything revealing. But I just have a feeling that the way coders work, they're gonna find something anyway that might seem a bit interesting. So that's why we don't see it often on PC.
Yeah, or that makes me actually remember, I think it was a demo for God of War 3. The demo makes you start like if it was the start of the game, but once you actually play the game, it's a completely different start. So you only got to play with the mechanics you're gonna have on the third game, but nothing to do with the story at all. It's completely like it's unique, separate level.
Someone mentioned in the chat that this kind of happened with Borderlands 3 as well.
So can't imagine you can data mine much from that if it's unique, separate thing.
Mm. It's quite interesting that we're on this subject because the data mining leak, the leak for extra content, also happened to Borderlands 3. And I recently got that game as a gift from my sibling. And I'm like, yeah, this is a thing that sort of happens all the time. So I don't know what people could expect. I haven't really delved into Borderlands 3 just yet, but it does sort of take away the element of surprise that a developer may be setting up for you in terms of future content.
I actually bought that game recently too, and I heard about the DLC.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you don't want to look into data mines, avoid Twitter,
Yeah, pretty much.
or
Basically,
just avoid the internet. Go outside.
Yeah, actually, people on Facebook are getting a little bit better at not spoiling stuff in general.
well, time to make a Facebook account.
Like I've seen like when Infinity War came out, there were like a lot of posts that were like spoilers without context, and they were like just like random images that you didn't get what the fuck was going on unless you saw the movie.
All right, so this part did not come up in the live stream. It was muted, but we were talking about moving and shifting to question number 6. We already finished question 4 and 5. So, what are some notable demo discs or games that you play via demo that you would recommend to people if they were morbidly curious? And I believe my answer was, a lot of the old PS1 demos, a lot of the old PlayStation 1 classics, because they had a lot more bang for your buck. So, a lot of morbid curiosity comes from the fact that a lot of PlayStation 1 classics had a lot to offer. Like I said, you can go into Pizza Hut, you can go into Game Informer, you can buy these sort of discs at the time, and you can have a lot of fun with it. And I do believe that a lot of ISOs exist. If I haven't said it already, a lot of ISOs exist so you can play these demos and experience that content. That was just the golden age for me. Like, if you're morbidly curious, I would say check on some of the Castlevania PS2 games, because that's how I got into Lament of Innocence, by playing those sort of demos, by playing those sort of ventures and getting into it a lot. And also, they had some cool trailers too. I guess if there's one PS1 demo that got me interested into a game that I could recommend, it would be the Toba series, because look at it this way: you got to play as this pink-haired Cro-Magnon caveman that liked to bash people over the head, and it was a cool platformer at the time, and it was so colorful and vibrant, and it's something that I would recommend people that are interested into platformers to pick up and experience for themselves, especially if you're into like retro platformers during the time. And I was also interested in the Crash Bandicoot game as well, because I'm like, how in the ever-loving name of holy Nostradamus fuck will they be able to do a 3D platform platformer, and they pulled that off beautifully. It was beautiful. They completely like changed my mind on that aspect, and I really gotta commend Naughty Dog for making the Crash Bandicoot series. I really enjoyed that too.
Also, they also had trailers on them too for other games, like Resident Evil had one on, I think it was Volume 8, and Parasite Eve, and they had them on there. I was always confused as a kid. I'm like, these are just videos. Why can't I play them?
Yeah, that's one thing that made me curious. Like, that's how I found out about like RE2 is they put the video on one of the sampler discs, and I was like, oh shit, that's fucking cool. So I can go ahead and watch this. And when I watched it, I got introduced into it. It was a cool concept. So that's another thing too. Like you could find out how trailers were on those demo discs that would entice you to also buy those games or get other demo discs to play them. Like I think Metal Gear Solid had a trailer on one of them, and then they had a playable build on another. So it sort of,
Volume 8, baby.
yep. So it sort of,
Good-ass CD.
so it sort of like incentivized you to play those games if you're interested in them. You got like a sneak peek, and then you could play like playable demos on them.
I think they also advertised, what the hell is it, PlayStation Underground or whatever that was.
I don't even remember that.
I think that was Sony's own brand of distributing out demos.
Yeah.
I think, because I remember they advertised as like, I think it was just PlayStation like paraphernalia, just a lot of clothing or articles or anything related to PlayStation.
Yeah, it was a magazine.
Yeah.
Pretty sure, because they had like
remember that.
they had like a dancing sweater with nobody in it, and it just had the logo on it. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as I said, like most of these demos are like ISOs now, which is what Kaneki told me. So if you're like curious to go ahead and download those, then you can find them like on the internet easy.
Yeah, I remember playing over and over. I never got the actual game because I couldn't find it. But on Volume 10 of the PlayStation demos, there was a game with Jet Li as the main protagonist.
You're talking about Jet Li's Rise to Honor.
That's probably it. I wouldn't be able to recall the name really.
Let me
Yep.
see if I can find it.
It's Jet Li's
Right.
Rise to Honor. It was on the PS2, and it was. I actually that's one demo I would recommend to people because I remember playing it and I actually liked it a lot.
Yeah, it was really fun. I remember loving fighting in the kitchen, and like you had so many options on how to kill the bad guys. Like you can drown them, put them on the stove, hit them with boxes, grab a
is it-
fucking crab and hit them with a crab.
Yep. It was a game. It was a game so good that Playboy gave it an 88%.
Oh
What?
yes, Playboy reviewing video games because we're not there for the video games when we pick up those magazines.
Yep.
Yep.
Didn't Ratchet and Clank, one of the Ratchet and Clank games, have a hidden demo itself?
I think they did. I'm not too sure because there was that thing that James was saying earlier where it was like Ratchet and Clank was cross promoted a lot during the time where that and the Jack series was released. So I wouldn't be
They both did it.
yeah. So
It's basically Crash and Spyro how they advertise each other.
yeah.
Yep.
So I wouldn't be surprised at the concept of secret demos, or I remember I think Spyro had them as well, where you can input like secret codes and you can play other games.
I remember specifically Crash 3. If you put in a code, you could play.
Sly 2, right? Or something like that.
No. This is on PS1, so I think it was Spyro 2. I can't remember. One of them let you play Crash Bash as well. I remember that was a code.
Yeah, that's a lost concept. I really wish that would come back. Secret demos where you could play like other upcoming releases.
Yeah.
That would
Like
be cool.
I want to say I had Dragon Quest 8 for the PS2. Had like Final Fantasy 12 as one of the demo discs inside of the case.
Oh, I remember something now. It wasn't a code, but what was it? Zone of the Enders 2. I remember the re-release had Metal Gear Rising demo on it.
It did. It's actually on the box. It's somewhere in my closet, but it does say Zone of the Enders HD collection, including the Metal Gear Rising demo and it's like a
Yeah.
blurb on the box. That sort of leads into the next question about them doing like a previous release and then they put like an upcoming release of a demo on there. So how do you guys feel about that when developers do stuff like that?
I
When they
would
do
say
what?
it's one when they put like demos in full retail games, basically.
Yeah, it's like
yeah, that's-
an example is like Zone of the Enders 1 came with the Metal Gear Solid 2 demo disc, and that was one of the reasons why that game was like highly successful was because they had MGS2 bundle as a demo.
They wanted the demo, essentially.
Yeah.
That can be smart. Like,
Yeah.
imagine a company releasing a new IP that they're not sure is gonna do well. They can bundle in a demo of an IP they know people like already. That's actually kind of smart.
It's a great
feel
way
like
to
it-
advertise it too.
Yeah.
I feel like it only works for like certain genres though. Like fighting games, I wouldn't recommend it for.
Hmm.
It depends.
Like Tekken, stuff like that. I wouldn't recommend doing it for Tekken. But if it was like, say, like Halo came out and they were like, hey, by the way, here's Halo 6 or 7 with this Halo 5 game. Here you go.
Yeah, it's because what's going to happen is the game that people are looking forward to the most, while they not only get a full-fledged game with the previous release, they will also get this new demo into a vertical slice of how the new game is going to operate. So that's
Yeah.
why I really like it.
So what about The Elder Scrolls 6 is in the making. So what if they did something similar and they re-release Skyrim with a demo for The Elder Scrolls
Skyrim
6?
for Skyrim 6.
I think people would just find a way to torrent out the demo and then redistribute it. I think people would be too sick
Yeah.
of buying Skyrim at
Yeah.
this point.
Hello,
Yeah.
Todd Howard here. You wanted Elder Scrolls 6? No, too bad. PS5, Skyrim.
Yeah, I
You know it's gonna
There is
happen.
no
You know
way.
it's gonna happen.
Take it from my brother, Broad Broward here.
Broad Broward.
Dave Howard here.
I do think there is a breaking point, like if people really want to sort of play these demos or whatever, the breaking point is I don't really want to play the same game I played like 9,000 different times. No way.
I feel like if
No.
Skyrim was only re-released one time and then it came with the demo, people wouldn't be mad. But that game's been re-released like 8 times.
And then they added
Yeah.
mods to
People
it.
keep buying it.
Yeah,
It's,
because
it's almost
that's
as
a-
absurd as Resident Evil 4. As much as I like RE4, good lord, take a break.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
It's like you want to play Resident Evil 8, well you gotta buy Resident Evil 4 on next generation consoles.
no, not 4, not just 4. You gotta buy 4, 5, and 6.
Well, you know what? I didn't mind them porting like 5 and 6 again
Yeah,
because
they only had one port.
yeah, because I only had one, so
Not 5 or 6.
it felt fair.
Yeah, Resident Evil 4 is old, eh?
Very old.
Mhm.
Any other questions about this topic before we move on to number 8?
Well, we talked about old demos, but what about newer ones? Like, are there any newer demos that you would recommend?
Like I mentioned one already, which is AI, the Simonium files. Person that made the Zero Escape series made the game.
Ooh,
Oh.
Oh,
I'm interested.
Yeah.
About morbid curiosity. Contra Rogue Core.
Oh,
for
God.
those that are curious about the game, get the demo, and if you want to get the game, go ahead. If you don't,
Is that a new
go
one?
ahead. Yeah,
It's
Contra
the new
Rogue
one
Core.
that's not a Contra game, but it has Contra on it, basically.
Mm.
One of those.
It's hard for me to think of a new demo to recommend to everyone, considering that most of the demos I enjoyed these days are betas or alphas, and what they usually do is after a while they like to take those off the storefront, which sucks. But if they still had it, I would say people should try out like Neo 2. It's a lot of stuff they need to fix, but at least they are keen in taking feedback, which is something that more developers should do often instead of just saying, here's this vertical slice, we're just going to roll with all the problems until launch. And then what happens is at launch they have a buggy, broken game, and then they try to patch it later while the game is still out for certain players dealing with these issues.
Like Metal Gear Survive was pretty bad. Like the beta was not good, and then the game released, and it was like, well, you pretty much just gave us the beta with nothing else fixed. Thank you.
Yeah, and there
Yep.
are those weird times where it's like sometimes the demos or betas are even better than the main game, which is weird.
Oh, you know what? You just reminded me since you brought up Survive. What is it? Street Fighter 5. Holy shit, that game had such a bad launch.
Holy
The game comes out, it's literally the beta. I'm like, all right. So everybody's been ripped off. Good to know.
I
They don't
also
even have lobbies.
I also don't like when they do this, and what happens is the beta winds up having a better sort of network in terms of like the online capabilities, and then you
Yeah.
fucking play the main game, and it's like, why is the online so trash?
I feel like that's the same thing with like stress tests, and they do stress tests, and they're like, "Oh, we're doing this to help out with the servers," and then the game comes out and nobody can get in for day one. And they're like, "Well, what was the point of stress test?"
Well, the game sucks. That's why. No stress.
Yeah.
It's just they don't account for these launches anymore, and that just drives me up a wall if it's multiplayer oriented.
Like,
You know what?
what
You
was
want
your-
you want a good launch? Devil May Cry 5. Game is amazing. Demo is super awesome, and they let you carry over stuff to the main game at least a little bit.
Yeah.
I think you got like orbs, right?
They let you keep a certain amount of the red orbs for upgrading.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Another one that is similar to that is Octopath Traveler, which you
that
basically
Oh yes.
you get to
Octopath.
play the full game for a little bit, and then your progress stays.
Never played Octopath. I have to probably check that out.
It's on Steam now. If you
It
want to
is.
get it.
Oh,
I
good.
thought it was just on Switch.
Oh,
Nah, they ported it over.
speaking of which, another one, Dragon Quest 11 for Switch.
Yeah,
Oh,
Dragon Quest
yep.
11 is really good.
I'm typing it out for all the demos for people.
Quest 11.
You know,
old
because
game.
sharing is caring.
An old game that's still pretty good for me is
Oh.
Dragon Quest 8. If you do like the game or the Dragon Quest series.
Or if you want a brilliant game, I recommend a demo for Ride to Hell Retribution.
No, don't listen to Levy. For whatever you may do, don't do it.
It is
Game is not
a
even listed anymore.
You can still get it if you're a physical owner, so it's not out of the question.
it is a amazing motorcycle game, and it beats The Witcher 3 when it comes to romance.
For the love of God, don't listen to him. If you're into seeing pixels like dry hump each other, then go ahead, knock yourself out.
Fully clothed ones too,
Oh my
My
God.
the best ones.
All right,
I-
but we kind of touched on number 8 a little bit, but I'm gonna answer it anyway. So, how do you feel about playtesting for alphas and betas, which might garnish up some feedback for a better game?
I'm all for it.
Oh,
Considering how things are going these days with shit being released. Yeah, I want to give as much feedback as I can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just tell the developers this part of the game sucks. Improve this part of the game. Don't add this mode in the game. I'm good.
Neo is like the shining example of that. They took that a lot, the first game to heart.
Yeah, I hope to do the same with the second.
I really do.
As long as they actually listen to the feedback that everyone gives, I have no problem with
Yeah, I think
any
that's
of
the
that.
main problem. They say they are going to test stuff out, wait for feedback, and then fix whatever needs to be fixed. But most of the time, they do their own thing anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones where it's like this mode sucks, improve on it, and they don't improve. It's like, well, they've learned their lesson.
I don't
Sometimes
think,
it's
like-
superficial.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
Yeah,
I
I'm a big,
apologize
like,
for
anime game
the.
person, So I think like one of the latest games I played is called Shinobi Striker, and I played the beta for it back in like
Oh, that
September.
Oh,
Boruto game.
Naruto.
Yeah, it's a lot better now, but like it took them this long to actually listen to feedback. The last like 6 months.
No,
to
the
improve it.
original Ultimate Ninja Storm or nothing.
Oh, it's yeah.
Also, I apologize for the ghetto honking outside.
Was
My
someone
bad.
was someone telling you to owe them money?
No,
Yeah.
It was Kojima saying, "Hey, we did release a demo for Death Stranding. You just didn't look hard enough."
if it is, then I feel sorry for what he's doing in the back of the car with Geoff Keighley and Kojima. It's like,
It's an
Norman
old
Reedus and the
box.
Funky Fetus.
It's like you'll give me that Game of the Year award, right? Yes, Mr. Kojima. Whatever you say.
I'm just
Oh,
expecting
God.
a scenario where he's on his knees like, Kojima,
We're s-
give me
Man,
the
look,
award.
we
I'm
already know
so-
what's gonna. We're side dipping, but we already know what's gonna happen. It's gonna be Death Stranding. If it's gonna be anything else, it's gonna be because he thought people would call him out. I'm calling him right now.
Hmm
I mean,
There
but
were not a lot of good games this year, like compared to previous years.
even people that like the game are saying that it is a walking simulator, and the only thing about it is the story. So
I like that he got defensive. That people said that when their first impressions before the game was out, like people watching it said that, and he's like, "Oh no, it's not that."
guys, I have this is like a side question for number 8. What if Death Stranding had an alpha and beta and actually had feedback?
I have a
Oh,
feeling that
yeah.
more people would be a lot more like just
Pissed off.
pissed off. I don't think they would like it. It's like people say it's love it or hate it, and that would definitely show more if Death Stranding did indeed have a demo.
I think Kojima knew.
I
What's
mean,
at the
that
end?
that depends. Okay, so it has a demo. Is the end result still the same game, or is it a different version of the game in which the gameplay is not just walking?
I think the result would be the same, as in people would just buy it and then they would say, oh, well, I really like this game. It's amazing. I know it's not for everyone, so there's that. But I think there would just be more of a consensus of people saying, well, I tried it. I didn't like the demo, and therefore I'm not buying the full game. So there would be that sort of divide still there. It would just be a lot more vocal.
Because there's not much you can add to that game really besides running around like a UPS driver. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is. Hey, welcome to Amazon.
pretty much.
You can add a super duper duper easy mode to that
My
because
my big grief with that game is he's coming off Metal Gear, and this is not even close to Metal Gear's quality. It's got graphics, but it had nothing else going for it, in my opinion.
I just kind of wish
Yeah.
that to make the game a little bit more interesting, that you could destroy people's packages and throw them off the side of a cliff. That
Yeah,
would
why
be.
can't we see when I beat him with the box?
Yeah, jump in their game and just kick them, beat them with their box.
It's like,
I don't know.
here's your PS5, sir. I'm sorry I broke it.
like that movie with Jim Carrey where he carries his package and just smashes it all over the place.
Oh, you're talking about Ace Ventura?
Yeah.
Or
Oh,
better yet,
that'd
it's
be
like, better yet, it's like, oh hey, here's your new Cyberpunk 2077 along with Final Fantasy VII remake. What's this? 2 copies of Ride Hell Retribution. Oh no!
Oh, this was yours, Chuck.
You actually ordered this? It's like, no, I want my Cyberpunk. Oh no, sir. It says you ordered 2 copies of Ride Hell Retribution. Here you go, sir.
It's like fragile package. I'm sorry.
Just take his packages out, let the rain fall on
So-
it. Let it all descend
So
on it.
you want it to be asshole stranding is what it's going to become.
Yes.
I would, hey, no, yo, that would be fucking amazing. Like going up to someone, it's like, oh yeah, you ordered this package. Oh, it's
It's
mine
literally
now.
the
You have
worst
this one.
feeling you'd have in real life. Hey, here's your
So-
package. It's a
so-
beaten piece of shit
so-
box.
It's essentially
someone
it's
make that a
essentially
game, please.
it's essentially an Amazon delivery person simulator. Do you choose to be the good delivery man or the asshole one? If you
Hate this
choose the
taken
asshole route, congratulations, you get this ending of you're fired.
It's the best ending in the game.
The best ending's like, fuck this job, I quit.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Just take the package, go home, put it in, play it.
Sir,
So-
that's not your PS5. Yes, it is. It has my name on it.
It's mine now.
I own it now.
Just takes out a pen and he's writing his name as he's saying that.
Yeah.
Or we take the fucking Death Stranding approach, just piss on. It's like it's mine now.
All right, folks. So we gotta move on to the final question, which is this one is a no-brainer, obviously. But what are your thoughts on early access games?
don't
It's
wanna
a
pay
hit or
for
miss
it.
for me.
Yeah, hit or miss.
Yeah.
I think it's good for some smaller developers to be able to show a game that's not quite finished, but to give people a chance to play it and continue to support the game if they want to do so.
Kind of
I
I'm
like
fine with it, but I'm not fine with paying for it when it's not
Yeah.
done. Because that's a
yeah,
That's like a Kickstarter. That stuff is a
it's a
gamble.
gamble,
yeah.
a major gamble. Like, there's one game that was actually close to being greenlit by Steam, but he chose not to do it. The guy who developed it chose not to greenlight it because he felt like, oh, if I greenlight it now for early access, it won't be my final product. It won't be the dream I had.
Hmm.
That game ended up being Stardew Valley, a good game.
I love Stardew Valley.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, if he
good.
it's good.
Yeah, it's like if I gotta wait, I gotta see the game being finished. It's cool if people want to beta test it, that's fine, but
I'm not.
I'm not okay with it at all.
But guys, everyone did have the early access game. It's called Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was, I, I
It was
think
a good demo. I won't lie.
it's a good demo, but I think people get way too comfortable by letting Kojima do certain things. Like you gotta pay like $30 for a demo, essentially.
I'm gonna guess that one was Konami.
Yeah,
That was
Just take it, I
Konami.
guess.
yeah, but
Pomoni, I mean.
people were so comfortable that I have not seen anyone really complain about it when that happened. I was like, wait a minute. Are we really like supporting this notion, fam, of paying for demos this expensive?
I guess it kind of depends on the person too. Like I played like Pearl Abyss makes like Black Desert.
Hmm.
If they make another game, make it early access, I'd 100% pay $20 for it.
But it's just so weird because it's like, well, on top of that, you could pay for this, and then we have the full retail release coming out like a couple of months later. So the whole experience is just sort of weird to me. That's why I think honestly, if you were interested in getting like both for like MGS5, I think there was a bundle that said you could get Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain at the same time for cheaper.
Yeah, it was the definitive version.
Yup. So sometimes it is
Which-
better to wait because you might get better deals that way.
Which, guess what? They took off Kojima's name.
Oh, they did. Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Oof, that
I
hurts.
didn't know that.
Yeah, they did because Konami is full of assholes. They tried to redeem themselves with the anniversary collections of Contra and Castlevania, but came out with Contra Rogue Core. In my opinion, not a bad game, but overall, a meh experience.
So anyone else before we do our outros here?
Well,
I feel like
Thoughts?
everything has been said. What I was gonna say has already been said.
Yeah, same here.
Oh, speaking of early access,
If you're lucky Dom's not here, that's all you'd be saying.
it felt like Ride to Hell was an early access game.
The first thing I would tell Dom is like, "Oh, we got 30 minutes, lad. You gotta hurry up."
We got a minute.
Yeah, well, speaking of early access, there's only one early access that I have ever like actually paid for that it's still going on right now. It's for a game called Fort Triumph, which I really like turn-based combat. This is like a strategy turn-based combat where you can interact with the environment a lot. Like you can destroy walls, and if the wall falls on someone, it deals damage. You can pick up boxes that are around the environment and use them, move them for cover, throw them for damage. Maybe there's stuff inside them, that kind of stuff.
Oh, there was actually one game that was on early access, and apparently they updated for free, I believe. Oh, God damn it, I pressed the wrong button. But still, it's like, ever heard of Legend of Bumbo?
No.
Hang on. Let me take this. It is essentially a prequel to Binding of Isaac.
Oh,
And it
Oh,
plays
yeah.
so weird, but it was in early access, and recently it became out of early access for $15.
that's
But
pretty cool.
but it's from what I've heard, it was a good game though. But someone's like, yeah, I got it for early access because early access is good.
I would just wait, honestly. Like, from what I've learned after spending so much money on video games, I've learned that sometimes it's only a few months from Black Friday if you're at the end of the year, so you might get a better deal on that recently released game if you just wait like a couple of months.
Unless it's a game that came out in November, like
Yeah, if it recently came out on that month, there's no way in hell it's going on sale. But if it's like 2 or 3 months old, you might get that for cheaper because I think COD was like, what is it? It came out in October, and for Black
Yeah, for
Friday
like
it was
40
like
bucks.
it was like $40. And I was like, well, I spent $60 on this fucking game, and I could have
did.
waited.
I just bought it because I knew everyone else would play it.
Yeah,
It's Call of Duty. I buy it every year.
I don't regret it because it is ultimately a good game, but it is like it does have that sort of moment in the back of your head where you're like, "Fuck, I could have like saved $20."
Or
Yeah.
PSN, PS Plus. Hey, bought this game for 15. Hey, it's free.
Yeah, like, or when you buy a game and then like the next week it's on sale.
Yeah, I hate that so much, dude. But yeah, play these game demos out here, people. They might lead to some interesting discoveries as you go on and experience those for yourself. So we're gonna do outros right now. So Devil Hunter James, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at DevHunterJames. That's about it.
Red Era, where can we find you, buddy?
You can find me on my YouTube channel, like I said before, with the same name, and you can also find me on Twitter, red_error, and you guys should tune in because I'm still going through that Batman game very slowly, but I'm still going through that.
Cal, where can we find you, buddy?
YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
Hardcore Leveling?
Yep, I have actually, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube all under the same name, The Legend of Edry.
Domain 76.
You can find me on the YouTube channel Game Domain or on Twitter at Real Game Domain.
And Levy the Amish Man.
Hang on, I have to finish my beer for this. Twitter, YouTube, maybe Twitch, maybe at your local bar drinking bad beer. But mostly Twitter and YouTube, mostly.
All right, so we're advertising liquor now. I got it. We're going full professional.
So good ones just off the table. Just does it have to be bad?
It is when it's room temperature.
Never drink hot beer, man. Come on.
This sponsored is by Corona.
We're sponsored by Monster and Norman Reedus. You got to get that one
Beautiful.
straight.
and the
Jack
dying
Daniels.
fetus.
And Xbox onesies.
Ugh.
And the people that made Ride to Hell Retribution, a great video game.
I'm still
No,
sponsored by that.
no, please. So let me outro myself. You can find me on YouTube at Renegade Operative. You can find me on Twitch, Renegade_Operative. You can find me on Twitter at RentOperative_. I don't know what I'll be doing, to be honest. Like, I have to work on this Sonic Mania review. It's gonna be a short little review. I really enjoy that game, so I'm probably gonna be working on that in the meantime, as well as this podcast. I'm trying to think what is the next IAS activity. I think we're doing something on something that's not porno related. I promise. Oh, we're talking about Tekken. Yeah,
we're talking about Dead or Alive Extreme 3? Hell yeah,
we
dude.
already talked about Dead or Alive, girls. Where you been? But we're talking about Tekken next Saturday, and we're probably gonna be doing a Soul Calibur 1 tournament. So next weekend, stuff is gonna be happening, and then after that is the prestigious Game Awards. So
Where Death Stranding will win.
Game of the year.
So get ready for that. Get ready for all the new reveals. Hopefully, get ready for 3 hours of Geoff on stage, sucking off Kojima. It's gonna happen.
And then at the end, Kojima brusses us with the final DLC for Smash Brothers.
That'd be funny if he did put DLC, put Norman Reedus in that fucking Smash Brothers game.
Sam Porter in Smash.
No, he's gonna put the baby in it.
Throw the baby in.
Imagine the
What would
baby
the message
is,
be?
imagine the baby is like a weapon, like a nunchuck or something. That'd be hilarious.
No, the baby's gonna be an assist trophy.
You know how whenever they announce a new character, it says like this character something.
This character will
Popping
adore
on
you.
or
Walking
Whatever.
into Smash, because walking simulator.
Yeah, all it is no. Sam Porter delivers the pain.
Oh my god, you talk about me being corny.
Hey, he actually delivers shit. At least mine was clever.
Oh, I don't know about that one, fella. No, I'm
And it
kidding.
got a
We have
laugh.
Snake in Smash Bros, so why not?
Well,
Snake sneaks into Smash.
Don't put Levy in the Smash Brothers. He's just gonna be drunk.
he's gonna
And
walk
Porter-
in the delivery.
Porter's gonna give
Levy
something
will
back.
churn that butter.
Sure, the butter.
What are we even talking about anymore?
I don't know.
The final Smash DLC. Give us
Is
your
what,
comments
butter?
of who.
Same
Deliver your
Porter and
comments to
butter.
see which DLC character you would like to see in Smash.
It's all rigged, so it's just Death Stranding.
Honestly, I want Travis Touchdown. Travis Touchdown, nothing, baby.
But
Goku.
I think that's a good way to end it. So for the people that came, hopefully you enjoyed the podcast. When the next one comes, when we talk about Tekken, look forward to that on Saturday, which is the 7th. We will see you guys next time. This is the IAS signing out. Later.
Ride to Hell's good.
No, don't believe him. Please.
Liar.